Welcome back to Domino Theory, the podcast about media, business, and politics. I'm Christian Whiton, joined as always by co-host Mark Simon. Today we're joined by Mark DiPlacido, a policy advisor to American Compass, a new right think tank. And Mark DiPlacido was also served in the U.S. Trade Representative's office in the first Trump administration. We'll get to the discussion briefly, but quickly a frame up. Today we're going to talk about trade and everyone melting down. According to President Trump, April 2nd was Liberation Day with big tariffs, and he did not disappoint, applying across-the-board tariffs virtually to all of our major or non-major trading partners. There was a baseline level and then reciprocal tariffs. And the interesting thing to me is Trump seems to have moved from threatening or applying tariffs to individual countries to try and extract discrete promises like fairer trade from Canada, an end to illegal immigration from Mexico, an end to fentanyl importation from both of those countries, into a formula that I had to put all of my MBA skill to use trying to understand yesterday, even though I love it, that actually is intended to equalize trade, that Trump really has turned the page and seems to maybe be channeling the person Mark DiPlacido worked for in the first Trump term, the head of the U.S. Trade Representative, Bob Lighthizer, who just thinks the trade deficit should be equalized over time, and that the trade deficits the United States has run pretty much without end since the Nixon shock and since the elimination of most tariffs in the early 1970s, that should actually come to an end. So with that brief preface, I want to welcome in Mark DiPlacido. And Mark Simon, perhaps you have a first question to get us kicked off.
Mark, I'm just going to ask you, how do you think it's going so far? In other words, what do we saw, I kind of preface that pre-Liberation Day as well, because this has been in the works for a while. How do you think it's going so far?
Sure. Thank you. And thank you guys for having me. I think the question that I've had sort of going into the second Trump administration is the president really going to address the core of the issue? Is he going to focus in on, I think as the intro mentioned, this gargantuan and chronic trade deficit that we've had? And I think what was really clear from the address on Wednesday and from the plan as it's been laid out is the focus is on restoring that balance and reindustrializing. It's not about, sort of tit for tat tariffs here and there. It's not about these other issues like immigration. The president has a very serious commitment to addressing the trade balance and bringing manufacturing and industry back to our country and making us competitive again. So obviously, if you've been sort of rowing in the wrong direction for 3 decades on an issue and restructuring the entire economy to walk down this bad path, there's going to be some disruption. There's going to be some challenges on the front end to turn, the Titanic of the American economy around, to miss the iceberg.